Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Browns postgame show with the final score of the Browns 27, the Jaguars 19. I want to say something I want to get off my chest now so that nobody will be disappointed later. A warning shot has been sounded by the NFL, loud and clear. If you're the Ravens and your team gets nailed with COVID and your quarterback can't play, we'll keep postponing the game for you. If you're the luckless Broncos and you lose all three of your quarterbacks, you've got to play without a single extension. And today, the firing shot was sounded that the Cleveland Browns are not going to make the playoffs. Period. The powers that be will not allow this to happen. That was the biggest fix that I've seen since Bottlegate. This is the most ridiculous horseshit that week after week, year after year, decade after decade, the patsy teams are the patsy teams. There is no fucking way that what went down on the final possessions of that game was legit. There's no way. I mean, they knew where the first down marker was, and they just were going to put that ball short no matter what. No matter what. How did they determine where to place the ball? Because they saw where the first down was, and they weren't going to give it to us. And then, then they took away the timeout, the last timeout for the team, and we ran the play thinking we didn't have one, and then the guy comes back afterwards and goes, and they don't even have him fucking mic'd up half the time saying something that a 3-year-old knew. It's like he won the fucking challenge, you dumbass. You decided to spot the ball twice short because you're being paid by a higher power. You don't believe that? Oh, how about the holding call earlier on against Treader? You like that, huh? You like the two of them? You like that, huh? How about some other goodies? How about Olivier Vernon?
How about the non-tripping call by the defensive fucking player for the goddamn Jaguars?
I mean, I am.
How do you miss that fucking tree trunk, black-clad leg not flying out to try and trip Nick Chubb on his way to a first down?
Yep. I mean, and Olivier Vernon finally getting off the line of scrimmage, burying the quarterback, and they call that fucking shit to keep it alive for them. They did everything they could do. For the Jaguars? No. Against the Browns! It happens every fucking year. And I'm sick of it. You're not going to beat Baltimore. You're not going to beat Pittsburgh. You're not going to get a call when it counts. You're not going to make the playoffs. You're in Cleveland. And it gets fucking old. And if you're the Broncos, you're probably sick of it already, folks. You're already sick of it. It's like, let me get this straight. There are some franchises that get certain advantages and there are others that don't. How does that work? How do you get a stay of execution twice if you're the Ravens, but the Broncos, no, you got to go out in 10 minutes and play without a quarterback? How does it happen? And the answer is the NFL. Running promos, if you didn't see the promos for the NFL, look what teams are on the promo. It's just as bad as the NBA. The Steelers, the Ravens, and you can name the teams that are on there. The Chiefs. I mean, why even have playoffs? Why even have extended playoffs? It doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. It's just the most ridiculous thing that I have ever seen in my life. And
you know what I think it might be, honestly? I think because the Browns have such a controversial, mostly unlikable quarterback, and they've been such a whipping post for how many years, it's just easy to keep them in that position. I think that's honestly what it is, or it's certainly a part of what it could be.
That's right. I mean, the Browns are going to win this game. And it didn't matter that Doug Marrone did a totally ignorant thing by taking points off the board. That nobody even talked about that in the broadcast. Is like, let me get this straight. Now you're going to go for the 2-point conversion. And then it's like, oh my God, we're a point behind. Nobody's mentioning it's because that turd burglar the guy's a loser. He's a 3-time loser. They bounce him out of college programs. I mean, my God, like students who don't attend class. Are you kidding me? You know, and this is what we get. This is what we get in Cleveland. And you can talk about Baker Mayfield because he's on all these commercials. Now, they're not going to let the Cleveland Browns go. This officiating crew should be jailed. Plain and simple. The NFL should be investigated. Every single thing that they did was wrong in the critical part of the game. They arbitrarily spotted the ball twice short, knowing exactly, because they had already seen it before, what they needed to put the ball behind, including the famous, let's pull the ball backwards before the measurement. We saw that against the Pittsburgh Steelers. How do we get this to be a link short? Do you remember that Steelers contest where the officials clearly pick up the ball and pulled it behind? Seen it a million times.
Could you not see that roughing the passer coming? As soon as I seen Vernon come around the corner, I knew they were throwing a flag. It was too perfect.
You know something, Brian? Nah. Winning is all that matters. No. There's no level playing field here. You're never going to get a chance. You're never going to get a break. Doesn't matter.
They have to be perfect.
The election was far less rigged than this football game, and if the Browns didn't get the first down in the end, and hey, let's let the Jaguars kick to win this one because hey, the money's where the money is, and we're following the gambling money, and this is how we do it. They don't give a shit. The team's fortunes and how hard they've worked to get to where they are and what disadvantages the team has had. No, when it comes down to money, it's all fucking money. We can all recount games. We can all recount games like Grunge is doing here. There's so many of them.
But this spot was as bad as the Raiders game in 2018.
Yeah, it's... And then to sit there and say, you lost the challenge. And it's like, no, the challenge was you spotted the ball 2 yards backwards, you stupid cocksucker. How do these people, they're getting paid to do what they're doing. That's all I can say. It's
the Browns being bad is good for ratings for the NFL and for all these shows that love to hate on the Browns.
Yeah, and if you don't watch the game, you're going to walk away with saying, oh, the Browns, they didn't deserve to win, and the Jaguars deserve to win, and Mike Lennon, Hall of Fame, you're going to hear whatever bullshit you're going to hear. But it gets so old. It beats you down. It gets you to, COVID's nothing. COVID is a piece of fucking cake because it will eventually be gone. But this other thing, no, it's never going to be gone. We could be 7-3 playing a 1-9 team, and the 1-9 team gets the calls. How is that possible? I just got no goddamn clue. No clue whatsoever. I was waiting to see what they were going to do next. How are they going to assist them yet again? It ruined the game for me. It ruined it. This ruins the season for me because I see what's coming. I'm reminded that Manos, the hands of fate, are somehow going to reach down from the sky.
They're gonna make the play. There's no way they're losing to the Jets and the Giants.
It doesn't matter, Tony. If we get into the playoffs and
you're gonna get killed by the Chiefs in round one, but.
No, I'm telling you, if the Browns are close to the Chiefs in round one, they're going to get, you haven't seen penalties like this thrown on the Browns all season long. And J.C. Treader, he's suddenly holding people. Oh, he's lost his form completely. We're just going to go ahead and pick him out of the bunch. And you want to know the truth. that ignorant, illiterate official, that's the only number he knew was 64. So he just goes ahead and calls it. It's foolishness. It's utter foolishness.
And whoever that guy was on the Jags, I think he was a safety, the white dude with the long hair. Seemed like every play he had a late hit on somebody.
Yeah. He was apologizing after it one time to one of the Browns players. It's like, oh, sorry, I committed a penalty that I didn't get called for. I
thought Landry was going to beat his ass when I seen him get up and get in his face. I really did.
With his head, but they're allowed to do it.
It's ridiculous.
And oh my God, I wanted to hit fucking Weingart in the goddamn knees with a sledgehammer.
That's who we're talking about.
42. That's Weingart. Yeah. That's him. Yeah. It's so upsetting to work as hard as you work to get to the point where you're at against. I mean, nobody had the Browns at 8-3. Nobody. But, it's almost like the league said, the Raiders are losing to the Falcons 33-6. What? It's like, the Ravens are going to look. Get on the horn. We got to change this outcome right away. Oh, my God. I just, here's our dumb comment of the day. Here's the dumb comment of the day. You know something? You get a pointy little hat and you have to sit in the corner. San Juan Creole. Shame on you for suggesting something like that. My goodness.
I think the quote of the day is that, Kevin Stefanski just really bothers me in one way. I expect my head coaches to kind of make me feel better about my physique, not just really want to kill myself.
Yeah, he looks like he go out and play. It's going to be interesting. The only thing I would question in
he was a defensive back, so he was skinny for a long time.
Yeah, but he looks pretty incredible at this point. So
looks like Kevin Luck's brother, or Kevin Love, rather.
The only thing I could question, as far as Stefanski, is, and I understand you want to end the game, but man, I'd have kicked the field goal, because at that point I was seeing where the whole thing was headed. These officials were going to be hell-bent and spotting that ball short no matter what happened, and if we got it, they were going to call another hold on us.
Well, the play calling was fucking weird. I mean, you say what you want about him getting it on the second down play, but why in the fuck wouldn't you just pound it for that inch on the third down play?
Yeah.
You ran the screen that Baker's got major inconsistencies on hitting wide open receivers.
Oh my God.
Let's be honest.
Yeah. His quarterback rating for the day, I guess, though, was 110.
Yeah, which is pretty good.
Kareem Hunt wide open, and he just chucked it, man. Way
not to mention
hard.
Higgins open. Yeah.
Yeah, the two passes in the end zone. The other one, the one he threw to Landry that everybody said, well, Landry should have caught it. Oh, for God's sake, it was the end of his fingertips. It was,
No. That pass, I give him a pass for, because he was covered.
Yeah.
He was covered.
Sorry.
And he threw a much better ball into a covered Landry in the middle of the field.
The one where he split the two guys?
Yeah. I'm willing to give him a pass on it. The one to Higgins, I don't know what the fuck happened with that.
I think if you go back and you watch that, it seems like he was like starting to float to the right, and he tried to sidearm it, because I think he's had so many balls batted down that he thought that was going to happen again. So he kind of like this, and it came out horrible.
Watch the play again. I have a different take on the Kareem Hunt play. The play was designed to be the little quick screen, but there was a guy who was in the way. Okay, and so if you watch the play, and I'm going by my memory, so if anybody has access to that play, and I'll go back and I'll check it again because I got the game recorded.
Is that the play that 59 was unblocked?
Yeah, there was somebody, a linebacker up at the line there, and who was in the line of sight of that pass. And Baker started and he stopped. Then he rolled right. And it was almost as if he didn't realize how much time he had, and he wound up and he just threw a fastball behind the receiver. But I think the timing of the play was disrupted because it was supposed to be just like the one that the Jaguars ran on their 4th down, which was pretty obvious, when they threw the little screen pass onto the flat to their running back. And it just flows. But the timing was disrupted by that guy being there. And it was like, once that happened, it was almost like Hunt got too close to the sideline. Everything got protracted out in time. And it's like Baker just tried to thread something in that he just needed to ease the ball over to. But if you look how close Kareem Hunt was to the sidelines, by the time the ball was thrown, you'll understand that the timing of the play was thrown completely off. So that's the way I saw it. But yeah, you can take a look at the statistics in the game, and you're not going to be criticizing Baker Mayfield with an 116 rating when this game's all said and done. He didn't turn the ball over, and he threw for 2 touchdowns. Harrison Bryant again fumbled the ball. It's the second time this year. Look out for that. Got to protect the ball.
What was Baker's passing yards? Do you know?
258. There's nothing wrong with the game that Baker Mayfield played. 19 of 29 for 258 yards, including an important final play where Chubb got the block from Bitonio and picked up that necessary first down.
Yeah, by the way, I don't mean to interrupt you, but just something I noticed that I've kind of started to pick up over these last few games. Joe Bitonio is not nearly what he used to be. I don't know what's going on with him, but his production is not, I don't think it's nearly as high of a level as it was.
Well, I'm sure he's playing hurt. I think that it's pretty clear that he's been hurt a number of times. All these guys on the line, my goodness, it was like when somebody at the halftime said that Landry was hurt and all. Well, you knew he was going to come out, and if he could possibly play, he was going to play. Now, Ronnie Harrison, I got questions about. All right.
Wow. I just rewatched that 2nd and 2 play that Hunt basically dove forward and actually got the line to gain.
Yeah.
They pulled him back 2 yards that his knee was down. It wasn't even freaking close.
No. And that's just it. You knew where their head was at before the whole thing. And I looked over and I said, well, it doesn't matter where they spot it. They're going to spot it short. And if we get it, they're going to call another penalty. There is just no way to get around this. Again, Nick Chubb with 144 yards, averaging 7.6 yards per carry. Every week. The fact of the matter is he is the best running back that we have seen since Jim Brown, period. Yeah. And we've seen some good ones. Leroy Kelly was a magnificent running back. And, of course, Kevin Mack and Biner.
Greg Pruitt.
Yep. But Nick
Peyton Hillis. I'm sorry.
One season. Yeah.
Well, for one season, he was great.
One season.
Put his face on a video game cover and
Moo, where does Hunt line up on that list for you?
Nowhere near Chubb.
Okay.
Nowhere near. I mean, Chubb. I'm putting Nick Chubb right in the upper echelons with Jim Brown. He is a dominant running back.
So where do you line him up as far as every running back in the league?
He's the best running back in the National Football League. Period. Not even close.
Man.
Not even close. They're playing in a system with no deep threat. They got their only deep threat and best wide receiver out for the season. They're running a scheme that they have no idea what they were doing when they started the season. And teams know that they have to stop the run week after week after week.
I would say it's a 1A, 1B type thing with Dalvin Cook. Just because with Dalvin Cook.
He plays for a losing team. Fuck Dalvin Cook. Plays for a loser. Nick Chubb is winning games single-handedly for the Cleveland Browns. I mean, how many plays have you seen Nick Chubb make where he turns something that maybe looked like a 6-yard gain into a 29-yard carry? And it withers the other team. You can see how it wears the other team down. And just what he did, the patience on the last play. We're put into a 3rd and 12 situation that we shouldn't have been put in. And we throw a little pass to him, and Bitonio got out there, and he runs into that congestion, and he has the presence of mind to be able to pause and then step back and lunge and get that first down. He is a once in a generation, and because I put Jim Brown in the last generation, Nick Chubb is the guy who is the best running back in football. I have never seen anybody who played for the Cleveland Browns, with the exception of Jim Brown, who had these qualities. That is high praise.
He's extraordinarily special. It's
Yeah.
I just rewound actually back to that play, that screen pass, and as I'm looking at it,
Yep.
Baker is at the 30, between the 29 and the 30, winding up to throw to Hunt, who's right about at the line of scrimmage, and there is no one within 6 yards of Baker, and Hunt is basically angled towards the sideline that he would have to catch it. It would have been a tough catch either way, but he's angled to head out towards the sideline with his left shoulder closer to the sideline. So he's angled backwards rather than kind of swinging the other way. And Baker just throws it inside.
Baker shovel passed it to him.
Why
there's
did
no
it take
reason.
so long?
Yeah.
Why didn't he get his hands on the ball? Or did you watch it from the snap?
I watched the whole thing right here, and they didn't even fake. I mean, I have it up right now on my TV. They didn't. It was supposedly a play action, a fake play action, but he didn't. I mean, he was already running out for the pass, so he just put the ball out there. But he just threw it behind him, and he threw it inside rather than outside. And he was standing right there. He just totally missed it. I mean,
it was reminiscent of the Higgins throw earlier in the game where nobody was within the zip code of Richard, and the ball was fired like it came out of a cannon.
And he may have scored on that. He probably at least there was nobody within 6 yards of him at that point. I mean, everybody is on the inside of the numbers. And he is that close to the sideline. If he had hit him in stride, they might have got him somewhere inside the 10, around the 5, if that. But because 47 has an angle on him, looking at it right now, he just totally kicked it. It was just, and you can even see when he throws the ball, Baker is like dancing, like shit, kind of a play like that. It's just, when you rewatch it tonight or tomorrow, you'll see this, and it's just like It's a bad play. He just was not there today. I don't know. Maybe he needs bad weather or something. I don't know what the deal is, but it was not his play.
What it looks like to me is that sometimes his feet or whatever get twisted around and the ball is sailing on him for some reason, because every ball that he is throwing, you're not seeing him throw them down into the ground and bouncing any of them in. They're sailing wildly. It kind of reminded me of Boomer Esiason when he played for the Bengals. Esiason, when he would have this tendency for his ball to sail. And if that ball started sailing early in the game, you knew damn well that it was going to be a big problem.
Yeah, Baker's got a high release. He doesn't follow through sometimes.
Yeah, I mean,
and I think, honestly, I really do think that comes down to the whole height thing, because I think he's worried about balls getting batted.
Well,
or at least the ones he sails from the pocket.
It's a matter of physics, though. I mean, it's just what it is. I mean,
look at the play where Higgins was wide open in the end zone. It was, again, I'm going by memory, so I could look at it and see it completely different. But he steps up into the pocket, but he kind of twisted, and the ball just kind of, I mean, I don't know. It was like, holy shit, this guy's wide open. He pegs it, and I don't, he could have just lofted it. It's almost like when Baker speeds up, everything goes wacky, and it's like a pitcher's delivery. It's like you got to keep your mechanics, and and his mechanics are really bad in the pocket for sure.
I wonder if his ribs are still bothering him a lot, and that could be part of it, because
I don't know.
Because I mean, he had the same thing, the big rib injury earlier, and it just seems like on some of those plays where he normally was fairly accurate on those. Even in college, that was a kind of play that he would normally make. But
and it doesn't help that he had the rib injury against the Colts, went out, played the Steelers, and just got murdered about every single play. I mean, go back and watch that game. He took a beating. So on top of the injury he already had, that was just salt in the wound. So obviously, I mean, he probably could have been a lot better by now, or at least, close to 100%. But I think because he got beat up so much in that Pittsburgh game, that really has delayed his healing process.
Well, this is the National Football League, guys. This is not,
Another question I have. When fucking Mike Glennon takes 3 steps backwards and throws the ball into the ground behind the line of scrimmage when his running back was somewhere in a pile of people, how is that not intentional grounding?
Yeah.
How is that possible?
The intentional grounding, I think, was a good call, though. I mean, he just sailed it over everybody, and he was trying to do that. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, that was
a
intentional
legit
grounding.
Call, but yeah, they should have been the same
Glennon
way.
did when he wanted, it's like they said, that was a smart play by Glennon because, he didn't see anything and he didn't want to make a mistake. Well, he did make a mistake. The ball didn't make it to the line of scrimmage. Oh, but there was somebody close. There were 4 blockers up there, and one of them happened to be the running back who got stuck and caught. I don't know what the rules are anymore because they're subjective depending on what somebody's telling somebody in the headset. I get it. I get it, Mark. He was open, wide open, and Baker sped up. I mean, it looked to me once he got outside, man, it looked to me as if he was afraid somebody was bearing down on him.
Yeah, I've heard somebody say that before. I've heard somebody say that Baker plays too fast for himself. And you see that at times.
But that's also the mental conditioning that he went through from last year where, there really was somebody right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was about to get drilled.
Too many lookout blocks. Guy goes up there and says, "Oh, look out."
And I'm not sure if he's saying, "Hey, I'll see you next week, Hakeem. If the Titans are your team, got a great football team there."
Wow,
and
they just put it on Indy too.
They just decimated.
And they did it both sides. They threw for 200 plus. They ran for 200 plus. I mean, wow.
How many yards is Henry going to have on us next week?
Oh my God,
400 plus.
Well, hey, you know what? We've skipped over the elephant.
Mimic that Buffalo kid.
We've skipped the elephant in the room. Sendejo actually made a play today.
Yeah, he made a couple.
He made a couple good plays.
Did he cut his head open? Did you see that?
He cut the bridge of his nose.
Oh shit! That's all.
Damn it!
Almost to the skull. He cut himself way up high.
Oh, that's one of those.
I think he was making a tackle, and it's the inner pad cut him.
That's one of those old school football plays where you see the guys with the bridge of their nose bleeding or whatever right there.
And
you remember?
So they did bring up another stat, and I know we've been talking about playoffs, but anyway, 17 years since the Browns made the playoffs, which if you think about it, if you're a high school senior right now, they have never made the playoffs in your life. That is amazing.
Yeah.
I'm 18.
Derek.
I just graduated last year, so I don't think I'm in that, but close enough.
No, not quite, Derek. You just got past there, but nonetheless.
You're old enough to not remember it.
Exactly.
Oh, you're an infant. Yeah.
Well, of course, Harrison is having an MRI. He's had 6 of them in the last 6 weeks, as far as I know. I mean, if the guy isn't well enough to play, he can't hold a roster spot. I mean, he's going down like Jenna Jameson, in a bad feature. He keeps enough. If you can't rely on somebody, you can't rely on somebody. And this whole thing is, well, he's the best we got. Not when he's not out there. He's not. We got to figure something out.
Well, you could always rely on Jenna Jameson, that's for sure, though. So.
Carl Joseph started off the year, I thought, playing pretty well. And then it seems like since he's been back, he hasn't been nearly as good.
Yeah. Now, Mark, the running game is what saves our soul. But you know what the problem is? The problem is, as you found out in this game, they can call a hold any time they want to.
Yeah.
And they can wipe out every ground game that the Browns have if we make the playoffs. And when they want us to lose, that's how they're going to do it. Because the Browns have been virtually, by Brown standards, a penalty-free team. I've never seen a Browns team commit fewer penalties than this year, which is amazing because we're running a new scheme and they got all these guys who aren't, really the greatest players in the world. We're not constantly jumping off sides. We're not, in motion the wrong way. We're not,
Very, very disciplined, particularly on offense with a new offense as well. Because that's something that, and Baker's had a lot of hard counts, and a lot of times you end up biting yourself in the butt with those, and they've really gotten the other teams to do it. So that was kind of nice.
That's one of. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but that's one of the little things of his game that he's improved a lot is that hard count, and that does help. Certain cases you can catch guys, but it's a thing that nobody really thinks about until it's like that time. So it's another positive, I guess.
Yeah, I want to point out something that I think is important. We have Tony the Calf in here with us, and Tony's trolling Baker Mayfield on social media. Then he shows up in this program, and
I know I unfollowed Tony just because of that.
It just gets Tony. Come on. Are you bored? Did your team win or lose? By the way,
we ended up coming back.
They won by a point.
Yeah.
They pulled it off right at the end of the game.
Who'd they play?
Carolina. Yeah, it was actually a good game. They showed the end of it on the other channel. I was doing
Did Teddy play?
He did.
Yeah. Well, they've gotten themselves now up to 5-7 and ruined their draft pick. So congratulations.
Yeah, Delvin Cook had a shit game for me. Thanks. Really appreciate that.
Oh, the best running back in the league, Delvin Cook. What did he do?
Let's see. 18 carries for 61 yards with a fumble.
Wow. Yeah, but right there.
4 catches.
Get him into the Hall of Fame, huh, Tony?
And what teams are Chubb stats against? Let's be honest here. Who have the Browns beaten this year?
Ever since he's played, he's averaged more than 6 yards a carry. Ever since he came into the league. There is, this is
the Eagles' defense is a hell of a lot better than the fucking Carolina defense.
We play the Ravens and the Steelers twice every year, Tony.
Colts.
The fact of the matter is,
the Vikings do have to deal with the Antichrist, so there is that.
and vision.
Oh, Brady, is that who you're talking about?
Yeah, vision.
No.
What makes the difference, Keyblade? That cutback ability is
Sharon Rogers, Derek.
What they say about chess players is that the grandmasters can see X number of moves ahead because they can conceptualize the board with pieces in every quadrant of the board. That vision, and it's the same thing for a quarterback, it's that snap ability to process that Tom Brady has so well. You process something quickly and you can definitively act on it. That's what Nick Chubb makes him the best running back in the game, is that it isn't that he's just cutting back to cut back. It's that he sees that it's going to happen just before it happens, so that when he makes the cutback, that the hole suddenly appears. It doesn't look like it's all there until he makes his move. It's really a synaptic thing, and it's a rarity.
And watch how he reads his blocks, Moo. He just has a tendency to wait long enough to hit the hole for that other player to come in there and do it. And even on that one long run that he had Hollywood Higgins out blocking for him, he kind of waited for Higgins to kind of come up and get his block, and then took off again past him. It was, it's one of those things you just don't see very often in a running back. Most of the time they just hit the hole and go, and if there's something there, or if there's a little bit of a slice, they get through it. But he just seems to make so many things happen. Just football knowledge wise, he's just amazing. We're so lucky to get to watch this guy on a regular week in, week out basis. Oh my goodness.
So we begin the second half. We have the ball, and then that ridiculous play. Harrison Bryant gets stripped by, of all people, Joe fucking Schobert, who really didn't show up anything. He was getting run over like he did in Cleveland. He's like guaranteed 3 yards in a cloud of dust after contact with Joe Schobert. I mean, he can't bring anybody down. But yeah, the Bryant fumble was reminiscent of the other fumble of his, and I don't know if teams are picking up. I mean, he's got to secure that ball in both arms. If he's not going to break away a long run. His job is to catch the ball over the middle. And the incomplete pass in the end zone was an incomplete pass. That was the correct call. And Harrison Bryant going like this. I mean, it's like, look, dude, you got to complete the process of the catch on the ground. I mean, that's the only way it's going to be judged. Believe it or not, a really big catch by Kadarrell Hodge on the sidelines that kept the chains moving.
That was impressive because most receivers bobble that as they're going to the ground. So.
Right. So, I mean, that was a nice catch that stood out in my mind. And now, we don't name call here, Doggy Bones. Tony, and it sounded like Tony cracked a beer before the show started. So
it was a can of Dr. Pepper. Thank you very much.
Oh, you're a pepper too.
Yeah.
Look, it doesn't matter whether we're able to close it out or not. It's going to be the league that closes it out, dude. I mean, we got officially closed out today. The league just sent the message loud and clear to the Cleveland Browns, and you have to do everything perfect. And I watched the other teams like the Ravens and the Steelers and the Chiefs, and man, when they're scrambling down the field in those last-minute scoring situations, they get calls like you wouldn't believe. There were guys. I mean, there was a play where right in front of the official, our pass rusher, and I want to say that it was Vernon, was clearly held, and they just looked the other way. And it was a play that the quarterback had to, rush the hell out of the pocket and get rid of it. And it was an incomplete pass, but he was clearly being held on the play. No call there whatsoever. So we're up against that, and it's difficult.
Right now, they're going to make the playoffs. Let's be honest. I mean, they're not losing to the Jets. I mean, I'm pretty sure you could put 12 pasture heads together and we'd beat the Jets. And they're not
10 wins.
They're not losing. There'll be 10 wins. They'll probably play the Bills or the Chiefs in the first round, and we'll see.
Right now, with
I agree.
Thank you to both the Dolphins and the Colts for laying an egg this week. That was a nice feeling. So,
what happened to the Dolphins?
They lost as well, I believe.
No,
is Tua hurt?
The Dolphins didn't lose.
I didn't lose.
No,
they played the Jets.
Never mind. They won the other day. Okay,
they're
still getting back. His hand was hurt supposedly last week.
43-6. There's a Gruden special. What in the hell? How does that happen?
That was the first time that score has been recorded in the league since 1923 when the Packers beat the Evansville Crimson Giants.
Wow.
And you just made that shit up, right?
I literally Fox Sports NFL. This is the first time that the score has happened since 1921.
Fake news.
This was the first time that this has happened.
1921.
Yeah.
Back in the day when the Columbus Panhandles.
Now the Cardinals, and I don't know, Arizona, what a thud has occurred there, losing to the Patriots.
Fucking Belichick, man. That's when they're on the fucking verge of not making the playoffs. So all of a sudden they pull off a win like this. It's crazy.
They got to do something.
He lost last week. He's a piece of shit. And look at the Giants barely getting by Cincinnati. I have to look at this just for the halibut. Brandon Allen, through 17 of 29.
12 points out of the defense, baby.
Cincinnati scored on an 103-yard touchdown.
A beautiful thing,
right? On the opening kick.
It was after the Giants had just scored, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, look at this. I mean, Daniel Jones was 16 of 27 for 213 yards in this game, right?
He got injured, so Colt McCoy had to come.
Yeah, and he averaged 3.1 yards per completion. That's Colt.
Well, the guy that Bengals was playing, wasn't he working at the Citgo last weekend? I mean, it was like they brought him off the practice squad.
That's Finley. That's the guy that almost beat or did beat the Browns in the last game of the season.
I thought they weren't.
They started Brandon Allen.
Yeah, they started Allen. They didn't even start Finley. Yeah, that was.
Then that's the guy from Denver.
Yes.
That is a remarkable question. You look at the Cincinnati game, Giovanni Bernard had 8 carries for 32 yards. They only carried the ball 15 times rushing, Cincinnati, and only passed 29 times. They didn't have the ball.
3-0 constantly.
Well, the Giants defense got 2 sacks, 2 fumble recoveries, and an INT.
Wow.
So, yay for me.
Wait a minute. I get to do something here. With 7:58 left in the second quarter, New Orleans 7, Denver nothing. Ball game!
Fucker was ball game from the kickoff.
Oh, my God. That's just ridiculous. And Tom Brady is losing to the Chiefs, 10-0.
Yeah, Mahomes just threw like an 80-yard touchdown pass to Tyreek.
Yeah, should come as no surprise. I think we'd have a chance against Buffalo. I hope they keep winning. I'd play them in the first round of the playoffs. I'd be very happy with that.
I'd be thrilled.
Kendall hit the emergency quarterback for the Broncos, 0 of 4 for 0 yards, 1 rush for 5 yards.
So he's got five more yards than you do, Tony.
It's going to be a historically inept football game that I'm probably going to turn on the TV here shortly, just for entertainment value.
Hey, this is my show. If I need to call someone names, Dougie Bones, it won't be Tony the Calf. It'll be Bill the Cocksucker Belichick. Okay. I guess it all depends where you're coming from. If you think Tony's a turd, you think Tony's a turd. I personally, Bill Belichick, Tony never spied on people, and Tony never did illegal things. And Tony,
that you know of.
Speak for yourself, there, cowboy. How do you think I got these great tree climbing abilities?
So I guess it was a last play field goal. Rick saying that the Patriots won on.
There you go. And how about them Cowboys? I'm sorry. That was my favorite of the whole weekend of Thanksgiving Day. I got to spend the day with my family. I got to see the grandkids. Everything was beautiful. And then I actually watched the Redskins run the fumble rooski against the Cowboys for positive yards in a real NFL game. And it was just like,
you want to call that a real NFL game? That might be questionable.
Okay, whatever it was. And then a
regulation game.
Yeah, it's officially on the schedule or whatever. And then with the fake punt at their own, what was it, 20, 25, whatever the hell that was. I'm just like, I'm going, what the hell's going on here? Obviously it's 2020, and things are going crazy. But and the other thing was weird. There was 2 things that happened this week in collegiate football games. Two calls that I'd never heard of before. One of them was a ball being batted forward, which was illegal. They actually tried to keep a ball in from going out of bounds and batted it forward.
That's the Dave Casper rule.
Yeah, well, I mean, but it was
a roller thing in a different context,
right? But I mean, the idea would be, could you just put it back at the spot at where it was? Because they batted it forward the defense batted it forward on a fumble to keep it from going out of bounds, and it was something I'd never seen before. And then there was. There was like two calls that I just have never seen it. The Dave Casper rule was an offensive one. This was a defensive one, though. You know what I mean? I'd never seen it called that way before. And there was another play that was similar like that. It was something you just have never seen called before that they actually, and it was the right call when you looked it up and did it. But for the officials to come up with those things, obviously they didn't have to worry about trying to cheat the Browns because they weren't doing that. They were doing college games, but still, it was pretty incredible. It was just like two calls you just never ever see before, where anyway.
Yeah. Wable, I did not stay up till 12:30 to watch Mike Tyson and Roy Jones Jr. fight. I have watched the fight since online.
It was pretty funny.
I can tell you this. Tyson could have knocked him out. Roy Jones was gassed. Every time he hit him in the body, for God's sakes, Roy Jones looked like he was going to fucking fall. I really think that Tyson spared him because I think that Roy Jones should never get in the ring again. I think that that's, but boy, what really was bad was Nate Robinson.
Oh, man.
Allowing somebody to go into the ring who's never fought before. And I don't care if he's fighting, whoever that guy is, the YouTube sensation. I don't know what makes him a YouTube sensation.
He's originally an Ohio guy. He's originally an Ohio guy, both Paul brothers.
So what did he do on the internet that made him a sensation?
He just has a ton of followers and does stupid ass shit, just like everybody else on there. It's just people. And actually, between he and his brother, they've just done some controversial stuff. I don't remember which one was doing the looting during one of the riots, but one of them was they seen on camera, actually broadcast it, and the other one was there with filming a dead body or something like that. And I don't remember what the heck it was, but there's a bunch of stories about him. And
well, the YouTube guy can't fight either.
He just out-bullied him, and he had actually had a little bit of boxing training, and Robinson supposedly didn't have any at all. And just
that's correct.
Out. Yeah.
And I was explaining that earlier today to somebody. It was like, there are little things, that you don't really think of. It's like if you throw a jab, right, you got to throw the jab from, but you got to bring your hand back to cover, you can't drop your hand after a jab. But the main thing that they teach you is your head can't be out over your feet. And
I think he was hoping for a basketball flag.
I mean, my God, Nate Robinson was literally running like this. I mean, and he just ran into. I mean, did you see the statistics? The YouTube sensation landed 8 punches in less than 2 rounds, and 3 of them knocked Nate Robinson to the ground and eventually senseless. What was the point of that? I have no idea.
Do you think, Moo, that based on what we saw, that Tyson could go in a normal fight these days?
No.
54 years old. What I will say is this. There's 2 things I'm going to say. One, after the fight, I saw the post-fight interview, and boy, by the time he got out of the ring with the decision, Roy Jones was still breathing so heavily, I was worried for him.
Yeah.
And Mike Tyson's body is amazing for a 54-year-old guy, and I wonder how he got it that way. That's another thing that was really on my mind, because Tyson had gained a lot of weight, and now his body looks like the body of a 28-year-old guy. It's really weird. But no, it's if you watch Tyson, what made Tyson when he was really good was the ability, like Joe Frazier, he's only 5'10" in height, is to get down low and drive up with hooks and inside with uppercuts and really put everything into the punches that he has. But he doesn't have that bob and weave because he's stiff and he's 54 years old. If you put him, anyone against Roy Jones Jr., look at Roy Jones Jr.'s last several fights. He got knocked out twice cold in the Soviet Union, and he got his ass knocked cold by Glenn Johnson, who had 9 losses on his record at the time, and he was knocked senseless by Antonio Tarver in their rematch. This guy has been knocked unconscious so many times that he should not have been allowed in the ring to begin with. And I think a lot of people pointed out that they were afraid that he would survive this. And I think Tyson did not throw shots to the head. But no, against a younger, more vital fighter. And the other thing is Tyson, even when he was Tyson, had tremendous trouble with fighters who were longer. Good examples would be James Quick Tillis early in his career, took Tyson to a 10-round decision. And James Quick Tillis wasn't that quick, but he was long armed. All right. And if you take a look at everybody who Mike Tyson had trouble with, including at the end, Kevin fucking McBride, the last guy he fought, who made him quit on his stool, guys with long reaches. No way he's going to go inside the reach of Tyson Fury, who's 6'7", or Deontay Wilder. He's never going to get close enough, and he didn't have the speed to get in. So, no.
That's how Douglas beat him. It was with the jab. I mean, he went at him with a jab and kept him at distance. And every time he tried to come inside, he just pop and nail him again. And it was just that I remember just watching that fight live. And it was just absolutely amazing because we had pretty much thought that Tyson was unbeatable. And he just, he didn't know what to do. Not to mention the fact that at that point in time, he had gotten rid of Kevin Rooney and had nobody that in his corner but his buds, who had no idea what the hell they were doing. So
and not to mention Buster Douglas. I mean,
yeah.
He was also a long reach guy who was jab first. Tyson could not get inside the length of his reach. So, no, I don't want to see Mike Tyson. But I'll say this for Tyson. After the fight, he said, I don't want to fight any legitimate heavyweight names. I'm doing this and we're donating money and this is charity. I enjoy doing this. It's a lot of fun. But no, these fights we're going to do in their exhibitions. That was not a draw, folks. Tyson won if it were scored. But again, that's not the point. I think the point for Tyson is that he wants to at least show that he can go distances. And these were only 2-minute rounds, not 3-minute rounds.
Right.
I think there were protections that were made. But to see Roy Jones gassed like that after 8 2-minute rounds, pretty bad.
They were supposed to wear headgear too, and at the last minute they scrapped that. So,
well, I live the Snoop commentary as well. Come on, man! Come on, man!
Looks like my 2 old uncles graduated at Thanksgiving.
Yeah. I mean, Snoop Dogg can go away too. The misogynistic prick. You don't need him. Look at that, 229 passing yards in the first quarter for Patrick Mahomes. My goodness.
Two long bombs to fucking Tyreek Hill.
Well, the Hill, the last one that he got down to about somewhere inside the 10-yard line and just juked this dude out of his jock strap so bad.
Tyreek Hill has 203 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns in the first quarter.
Oh wait, and then he gets to the end zone and instead of just walking in the end zone, stops with his back to the end zone and does a backflip still while the clock is running into the end zone for the touchdown. You will see it on the highlights tonight. It was marvelous. So, yeah.
I'll tell you something else that concerns me. A great performance by Jarvis Landry. God only knows. 8 receptions for 143 yards, turning the clock back for him.
Incredibly great hands, too.
Yeah, tremendous hands. And he's playing hurt. You know that he's dinged up. But the fact that Hooper only caught 2 passes for 13 yards, Rashard Higgins only 1 for 15 yards, Harrison Bryant 1, and you know what he did with that. And Stephen Carlson caught a pass. We're not getting help from wide receivers. This is eventually going to be the Achilles heel of the Cleveland Browns, is that we just don't have wide receivers who can separate. And there will be teams good enough to stop the run as we get into the better, and next week might be a good example of that,
Yeah.
A very physical football team like the Titans, but Jacksonville, for what they had, I mean, they spread the receptions around. Johnson with 4, Cole caught 3, Chenault caught 3, Robinson, the running back, caught 5. So, and James O'Shaughnessy, somebody's always after his Lucky Charms. I don't know what's about that.
Was it Laviska? Was it Laviska Chenault your name at Temple when you were a kid? I mean, what the heck?
Yeah. Hi, Laviska. Hi. I went to Talmudic study with a guy named Laviska. Then even Tyler Eifert made a three catches, including a touchdown pass. And Eifert is 97 years old, as far as I'm concerned. And that was that. The only turnover was the one fumble. And if you're wondering who got the job done on the Cleveland defense, a league leading 0 sacks for the Cleveland Browns against Mike fucking Glennon. You know, even the goddamn Jags, man, had 9 all season. They had 2 against us. So not good. And Dearness Johnson had a few good kickoff returns.
Yeah, Johnson did real well, and Parkey didn't miss anything. All right, we'll take that.
He wasn't given a chance to ice the game when we could have iced it before the referees were, or while the referees were taking it away from it. And Jamie Gillen only punted once. I mean, the thing is that the defense let them hold on to the ball way too long. The Jacksonville defense did not stop the Cleveland Browns. So for people who are concerned about the offense and all of that, no, they didn't stop the Browns. The fact is that they, ran for a lot of yardage. And, when you run for 140 yards, you're going to eat up the clock. And the clock was rolling a whole lot of the time.
Rick May was the closest on the score prediction. Yeah, the Browns winning 31-23.
Damn, and I had 31-20. Eat me.
It was a quick game though, like you said, with both teams running the ball successfully and keeping it in bounds. It moved along fairly well. So
yeah, I mean, but the time of possession, the Browns won the battle 32-27, right? So I mean,
but that was a lot of that was in the second half, I think, wasn't it?
Well, I mean, when we, the thing that worries me the most is you can't come out in these games playing like dog shit like we did again today. You got to come out and you got to put your foot to the pedal early on. And this is a reason why we get blown out by good teams. If we come out in little touchy-feely mode, they came out, we had our hands on the ball, and they sacked Baker right off the bat. And, they took it to us early in the game. That should not have happened. And this notion that, we're going to come back to the fourth quarter, we're going to get stronger, our running game, that implies that the game has to be close enough for that to happen. And against a good team, if you come out unprepared and unready, you're going to be behind so fast, your head's going to spin, and you're not going to get to use your greatest asset, which is your running game. So in the end, Tom, a win is a win, but certainly the NFL has spoken about that. And you're right. I don't remember 8-3. I think there was a statistic. The Browns haven't been 8-3 since, I believe it was Napoleon Bonaparte. There was something about him.
I know they haven't been 500. They have secured a 500 or better record for the first time since 2007. And then wasn't it like another 10 years prior to that happened?
Yeah, I mean,
I believe War and Peace was being written.
Yeah. I don't. 8-3 has been a long, long time. So the Browns are going to be in a good place in one respect, but man, we got to play a much higher grade of football if we're going to. The Titans. This could have been a devastating loss based on the way the referees turned on this, and you can see Stefanski shaking his head on the sidelines, and it's like, welcome to Cleveland, my friend, because this is what happens, And I was afraid in the beginning of the game when some guy named Rosas, who looks like he's eaten far too many tacos, if you ask me, kicks a 54-yard field goal. It's like, it's like, this may not be a great day for us. They just put the guy on the team. He's come off the practice squad, and he rips a 54-yarder,
Well, they've gone through 5 different kickers this year. This is Rosas' second turn with them. He was hurt earlier. He was the third kicker they had. The first guy played, got hurt. They had another guy play, got hurt. They had actually had at one point in time 5 kickers in the course of a like 5 straight games. It was
wow.
Yeah. So that shows you how kickers can come through. And I guess Rosas used to be with the Giants and got involved in a hit skip, which they eventually pleaded out of somehow, whatever the deal was. But they
wasn't kicking off, was he? He was
no, they didn't. No, they didn't have him kick off.
Why? He's got a strong leg. I don't get it.
Whatever reason, I don't know. Maybe they just
I think
didn't have it.
Doug Marrone is brain damaged, is what I think. I think he's a horrible coach. But thank you, Greg. 1994 would be the Vinny Testaverde year. That was the last time the Browns saw 8-3. The last somebody asked earlier, when is the last time Baker threw an interception? And
It's been a couple of games.
That's why I think maybe 3 games, maybe last 3 games.
Raiders game, I'm thinking. Sounds about right.
Did he throw one in the Raiders game?
Jeez.
You know, the Raiders had the ball the whole time. I don't even know if he had And now we're getting into play calling. Why was the first play a pass play? Well, nobody really tells the quarterback to drop back and stand in the pocket and freeze. If your first option isn't available, throw it away. It's I don't know.
Or better yet, find option number 2.
Well,
but you're allowed to do that?
No, I think that play, and I didn't see it a second time, was probably designed to go out quickly to a running back or something, and somebody was there on top of it and smothered it. Baker did not have the presence of mind to do anything but freeze in the pocket. You can't do that. So, and Tom Hawley now points out it's been 4 games. Now you've jinxed him, Tom. Here come the Titans. Remember the Titans? And week 7 against Pittsburgh when he threw a pick. All right. So he's been managing games. I'll agree with the assessment that he is a game management quarterback. He's not going to be a guy who is a long-term 12-year franchise, get you consistently to the playoffs guy. I don't think Baker's that kind of guy. But we have what we have, and we're surrounding him with the best we can surround him with. He's got good protection for the most part. He's got a fabulous running tandem, and I'd like to see him with a little bit more speed at the wideout position. So be that as it may. I've said everything I want to say. I just have wrath about the league, man, just wrath. I really think that it's wrong that this continues to go on. And that the official even pissed me off even more is that he took that last timeout away from the Browns before giving it back after the Jags got the ball back. It's like, you don't even know the fucking rules. I mean, dude, you weren't even close. You spotted the ball back 2 yards. I mean,
affirmative action.
You were told to do that. And no, it's not just that, Brian. I mean, we've had it from every official crew that I've seen.
Oh, I know.
That goes way out of character and turns into Browns haters. And you can tell that they're being talked to,
What really confused me about that sequence.
Okay, that's right.
So they supposedly Jerome Boger's the guy's name, by the way. He probably eats his Bogers, but anyways, they said Cleveland gets their timeout and their challenge back. So why didn't Stefanski challenge the spot again? I mean, kind of
already ruled.
Yeah.
I don't think you can call 2 challenges in a row, though.
The fact is that there is no way in God's creation when they missed the call by 2 yards, saying his knee went down, and they were proven to be so wrong. It was obvious at that point that they wanted the Browns to be short, and they knew after the first spot where they had to spot the ball. That first spot, you look at the end, he scotches the ball back. It was just and there's Bronk getting in under the. We're getting ready to take off here, Bronk.
Sorry, I've been away. I haven't seen any of the show, so I don't know what you guys have talked about. I've had the personal issue here to deal with.
So give the final word, Bronk. You made it here.
We spent an hour talking about you, Bronk.
I came here and I just wanted to. I didn't want to miss the Peter Ellis moment. So what's the Peter Ellis moment going to be?
Oh, league. The league is forcing the patsies into being patsies. Oh, look at the Broncos. They don't have a fucking quarterback. and they're forced to play. And oh, look at the Ravens. They've gotten 2 postponements. Let's make sure that Lamar Jackson doesn't miss 2 games. God forbid they'll not make the playoffs. And oh, if we can steal them from the Browns are 8-3 now. Oh no, we can't allow that to happen. They can't get in and the Ravens not get in. Oh, shame on the NFL, shame.
All Doug Marone had to do was leave the points on the board, and the game would have been in overtime. And who knows what would have happened?
Exactly right.
Who knows what would have happened? Now, you guys have probably already. I'm not going to go over it.
I'm sure that the people in Jacksonville, if they still cared about this team, are probably going nuts about that.
I mean, there's no way to know whether the attendance of the game is being controlled due to COVID regulations or if that's just how many people are interested in the Jaguars.
That's got to be how many. They got more fans in London than they do in Jacksonville.
Yeah, that's what you're going to end up with in London.
Exactly.
That's wonderful. Yeah.
I like my name, though, today, Taiwan Taylor.
Exactly. I mean, Taiwan Taylor, he had one target, 1 drop.
Taiwan number 1. China number 2.
All right, man. I'm going to get the heck out of here. I'm going to enjoy the rest of my evening. Hey, everybody. I know a win's a win. We're 8-3. My wrath is not at Baker Mayfield. I am disappointed in the defense. We'll talk more about that tomorrow.
We'll get ass raped next week, aren't we?
What a beautiful thing to end the show on.
I really want
Ass rape.
Yeah, I really want the officials to be looked at because that was really fishy today.
Hey, they got an all-paid holiday in Cancun from the Jacksonville owner, all lined up. So good for them.
Yeah, exactly. All right, everybody. Thanks a lot for tuning in to this post-game show. We'll be back on Moohead Radio tomorrow, 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and we'll be talking more in depth about this game, and I'll talk more about the game itself and less about the officials, I swear, unless something comes up with the officials that would lead us to believe that they're being thrown out of the league because they were tainted. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Until tomorrow at 6. Hasta la vista, Pasture Heads. Good night.
No.